Good morning to you, Pete. What's happening?
Good evening.
Good evening, Lisa. Thank you.
Sorry.
Breakfast die hard, don't they?
Goes with the territory.
Mathias Cormann's with me. Have you spoken or communicated with the Prime Minister tonight?
No, I haven't.
What is your take on the situation as you look on the screen now? It is close.
Well, you know, we always said it was going to be a close election. I mean, obviously, there's still a way to go. The people in the great state of Western Australia have only stopped voting 45 minutes ago. So, obviously, the result out of Western Australia, like Julie Bishop was just saying, will be quite crucial potentially. But, you know, I mean, we're doing quite well in Queensland, we're doing quite well in Victoria, two states where they're bad Labor governments, so that appears to have been a factor, and we've just got to see how things end up in New South Wales and in other parts of the country.
Has Medicare got traction?
Oh, well, there's no doubt that the absolute lie that Labor was running in relation to Medicare was politically effective. I mean, that's why they were doing it. I mean, the unions, Labor officials, Labor campaign strategists were patting themselves on the back for the effectiveness in which they were able to deceive people, scaring them and deceiving them into voting for them. I mean, that is sadly, that is sadly part of this election campaign.
The company line, of course, is we always knew it was going to be close. Did you think at 8:45 in the eastern states you'd be looking like that?
Well, you know, as I said, I mean, I've said all throughout this campaign that this would be a close election, every single vote would matter, and that has proven to be true.
And the Senate then? We had a double dissolution election. Part of it was to try and get a more manageable Senate, and now we've got polling well for Pauline Hanson, Jackie Lambie.
Well, let's see what the result is. I mean, I think that we will probably have to wait a few days, if not weeks, before we know what the result in the Senate is going to be.
OK, I'll hand back to the panel if anyone would like to talk to Mathias.
Matthias, it's Peter Costello here. First of all, congratulations to you on the campaign which you conducted. I think you were the coalition spokesman. Can I ask you, were you surprised when the Labor Party came out during the election and said that they would make the deficits worse over the next 4 years? Was that something you were expecting?
Well, for the last 2.5 years, we knew that all of the promises that Labor was making on, policies that they would restore, spending that they would bring back were unaffordable. We knew that the day of reckoning would come, and in the end, not only did they have to walk away from long-standing past promises like their promise to bring back the school kids bonus, they also had to say that they would deliver bigger deficits, and they had to say that they would deliver more than $100 billion in additional taxes, which of course would be bad for the economy and bad for jobs. So, I mean, they gave us really the trifecta in this campaign. I mean, the economic credibility was in complete tatters in this campaign, which is why the only thing that was left for them to do was to run this Medicare scare campaign. And, you know, politically, it looks that was more effective, perhaps, than even we thought during the campaign.
Well, can I ask you on the Medicare issue, was your feeling that gathered pace, that it would have turned more votes towards the end of the campaign than it did at the beginning? Because that's going to be quite relevant when the pre-polls are coming in.
Well, I mean, it started off with, this advertising, that we're supposedly trying to sell Medicare, which, I mean, everybody knows that was a complete and utter invention. But, and then they started to reshape it and remodel it. They started to run, obviously large-scale robocalls, ringing people late at night at home, scaring them into, trying to make them believe that, their health care would be at risk if the coalition was re-elected. And I mean, as late as today, people were getting text messages, supposedly from Medicare Direct.
So you'd say it became a bigger issue as the campaign wore on?
Absolutely, it did.
Mathias, thanks for the talking points. But can I ask? Can I ask you, mate?
You know that I'm telling the truth. You know that what I'm saying is right.
Can I ask you, mate, a question? When do you think the next time will be that a Prime Minister calls an election campaign for not just 8 weeks in advance, but effectively from February it was flagged the election will be July 2? Do you think that was a mistake? Do you think it will ever happen again?
Well, I mean, going to your first question, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what Prime Ministers will do in the future. I'm sure that
Do you think it's a smart idea to give your opposition what we had when we knew when the election date would be? I mean, surely that gives up an enormous advantage of incumbency.
Well, you're entitled to your views and to your commentary, and good luck to you.
Mathias, Kim Beazley.
G'day.
I'm very impressed because it's the first time I've actually heard the former Treasurer deliver a Dorothy Dixon instead of receiving one. But one of the things that I've always thought of politics is this: you may say something, but other people hear something different. So you've attacked the Labor Party's funding projections right throughout the campaign. But you've had sitting at the heart of yours a definite $50 billion hit to revenue. Do you think that in the public mind that is in any way detracted from your argument against the Labor Party when you claim gross spending or you claim fiscal irresponsibility? When you're running a line on a tax concession, which everybody came to understand as going over 50% to foreign shareholders and the rest to big business in Australia. Did you think that in any way, shape or form you sullied your message?
Well, I'm really surprised that you would say that, because, of course, you were a senior minister in a government that reduced company tax from 49% down to 33%.
And then put it up.
I mean, listening to what you've just... I mean, essentially...
And then put it up again.
Well, I mean, that is actually not right, because in 93, when you reduced your company tax rate from 39 to 33%, you had an $18 billion deficit.
Who cares what we did?
Indeed.
What we care about is what you're doing.
Well, it is to put it into perspective.
All of us in the 93 election are either dead or out of office.
The reason I remind you of it is to put it. Well, to put it in, the reason I pointed out is to put it into perspective, because what we did is what I think your government was trying to do, and that is to boost investment, increase productivity, strengthen growth, create more jobs, and over time increase real wages. Now we were actually...
The election's over.
All right, Mathias, thank you for your time tonight.